Yes, we're live. Awesome. Awesome. Hello, everyone. This is Tia for another Tea Time with Tia for Geek Vibes Nation. There's my phone beeping. How's everyone doing today? Sorry that the lighting is shoddy. If you've watched other videos of mine, you know that I am no video expert. I literally am doing this on my Chromecast and I go live because I don't know how to edit videos or anything. So yeah, but we're back in the living room as opposed to being in the bedroom for last video. So that's fun. What has happened? I don't know if I ever spoke about this in any of my videos, but we had Xbox One. So okay, I'm not a gamer, right? My gaming ended with the PS2. I loved SSX Tricky, the SSX franchise. That was my shit. I was never into any of the games that people play today. So, an N64 and the original Nintendo, again, that was my shit. So PS2 and N64. All that's what I liked playing. But we have in the house plenty of game consoles because my boyfriend Paulie is really into games, and also I use them for watching TV. So in the bedroom is the PS4, which works fine. Here is the Xbox One. And we have used it for about 2 years now. Either Paulie's playing Minecraft on it or I am using it literally to watch Netflix. And a few weeks ago, it stopped working completely. I tried to restart it. I tried to do this, do that, went online, did all of the things that it says to do, and none of it worked. So kind of gave up on that. So I took that out. I still have a PS3, so I put the PS3 in. I had to buy a new controller online because the controller I had was bugging out. And apparently they don't make PS3 controllers anymore, which I guess makes sense since they're going to come out with a PS5. So I had to order a PS3 compatible controller from some knockoff brand online, and that works just fine. So that's what I did. And I guess I've been watching stuff now through Chromecast through my phone, so I don't really even need the consoles anymore. The only reason why I like the consoles is that I have a ton of DVDs and Blu-ray still, and I feel like I don't want those to go to waste. So yeah, I'm sure gamers out there are like screaming at this moment, like, "Oh my god, that's all you used your consoles for?" It's like, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll still break out the PS2 because I still have it, and I'll still break out the N64 because I still have that. And I will actually go to my grandparents' house who still have the original Nintendo, and I will play some Super Smash Brothers. But that's about it. But that's not what this is about, this video right now. We are talking the Netflix show Dead to Me, which recently came out with its second season. And I'm going to bring up my phone so that I can actually say who's in it and sound like I know what I'm talking about. So it stars Christina Applegate, Linda Cardellini, and James Marsden. And it's now 2 seasons, and each episode is a half hour each. So I started watching it because I feel like now I'm literally running out of shit to watch. And, I wanted something easy, but Dead to Me is anything but a comedy. It is serious and it is super sad. I really liked the first season. Personally, I thought that Christina Applegate was hilarious as this very foul-mouthed, angry woman who's dealing with the loss of her husband, who she had been with for X amount of years. As a fellow metalhead, I loved them portraying this middle-aged woman jamming out to metal in her car. Really appreciate that detail. And, in the first season, you find out all these things. Not only, okay, so her husband died from a hit and run. You find out that their marriage was not all sunshine and roses. In fact, he was cheating on her. They probably were going to head towards divorce anyway. So you had all of that, which is, I think, really crazy to find out that it's like how someone mourns the death of someone that they're with, even though things were not good, even though they fought a lot. And then obviously the fallout that has with, say, your mother-in-law, your kids, and everything. That was just, I like the way that they portrayed that. I thought that was very real. And I think that because Christina Applegate's character, the way she grieves, is not the typical way that a person who loses a loved one would grieve, and that probably is very new for people watching it, and I appreciated that. And so then you have, on the other hand, so her name is Jen in it, and then she meets this woman. God, what is her name? What is Linda's name in it? I don't know why I suddenly forgot. I had a blank. Judy. Okay. So then you meet Judy, who's this really kind of eccentric person and all that. And things are a little weird with her anyway, because Jen and Linda meet at first at a support group, which then you find, because Judy says that her boyfriend or fiance also is dead, but then you find out he's not. He's played by James Marsden. Really good, by the way, too. I really like James Marsden in season 1. I felt like it was a character that I wasn't used to seeing from him. And also kind of made me appreciate ooh, James Marsden, he's fine. But yeah, so you have that aspect. So, okay. So Judy, boyfriend's not dead. They broke up. So then there's that. There's already a level of Judy lies and something's not right with Judy. But either way, Jen and Judy become friends. Judy ends up moving in with Jen, much to the chagrin of Jen's oldest son. And eventually throughout season 1, so I'm just going to gloss through this. Season 1, you find out that Judy is actually responsible for Jen's husband's death. She was the one behind the wheel, and she hit the husband and killed him and didn't say anything. That was crazy. That spin, when I first saw that, when they first showed her car in storage with one of the front headlights all fucked up, I was not expecting that at all. So you have that aspect in season 1. You have Judy and Jen not knowing, even though Jen is trying very hard to find those who are responsible for her husband's death, even though she has now found out that the husband has cheated and all of that. Still, regardless, that was the father of her sons. She still loved him, even if she was angry, and she wants to find out who the killer is. All while Judy is trying to keep this huge secret, deal with the fact that she also had a lot of tragedy in her life, a lot of miscarriages, and then, Steve and her having this rocky relationship, and Steve kind of being just a general douchebag. But again, I like that about Steve. So at the end of season 1, Jen and Steve get into an altercation, which ends up with Jen killing Steve, which I didn't really like. I liked Steve as much of a douchebag as he was. I feel like that was kind of necessary. And also then catapulting into season 2, this is what I didn't like about season 2. Season 1, you have Jen is the person who is mourning the death of a spouse, and Judy is dealing with the guilt of being the person who killed said spouse. And then even when that comes to light, having to deal with that. And then in season 2, suddenly there's this role reversal. And I remember when I started watching season 1, I texted my good friend Cindy and asked her, hey, have you seen Dead to Me? What do you think? And she was like, I've seen Dead to Me. Season 1 was good. Season 2 felt a little too convenient. And even Kelly, who is also a good friend of mine and a contributor for Geek Vibes Nation, said along the same lines. And that's how I feel like season 2 was. I did not like the role reversal where suddenly Jen has to be the person who is sorry. Judy is the one who's mourning a great loss, even though we saw how much of a manipulative person Steve was, and even finding out that he is involved in all this, like, hang on one second, guys. Sorry. Finding out he's part of all this like money laundering shit and all that. So I didn't really like how they felt like they needed to do that. There was no real reason for it, you know. In general, I think it's very weird that Judy and Jen maintained a friendship after everything came to light, because it's like, I get that Judy seems generally like a good person, just a little off. And I get that it was a complete accident, but this is still the person who killed your husband. I don't understand how suddenly that was okay. And then saying like, well, it was all Steve's fault. He, told her to drive away. And again, Steve is a douche, and he did tell Judy to drive away. And he was perfectly okay with keeping that a secret, and Judy wasn't. But I still don't like the narrative that really was kind of surrounding all that. And then on top of it, because the show is like, all right, we killed Steve, but we don't want to lose James Marsden, which again, same. Do you guys like this, by the way? My mom got it for me. My mom gets me a lot of things. I'm 30 and she still gets me a lot. Don't judge me. By the way, James Marsden has been in all of our lives for a really long time. To me, he's still Cyclops. In a lot of ways, I didn't really like the new Cyclops. And even though I'm in full support of the MCU bringing in a different actor, just because they should for everyone, that to me, James Marsden is still Cyclops. And I kind of want to go back and watch the original X-Men movies, even though I'm pretty sure they'll probably not hold up to today, because I went back and watched the original Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi one, which I know there's a huge Sam Raimi cult out there, and I do not hate, but I don't think in a lot of ways the Tobey Maguire ones have held up to today. And this is not me talking about just because I'm an MCU fan. Like I like other things, guys. MCU fans can like other things. I just don't think that the Tobey Maguire one holds up as much. It is what we all grew up on. For me, it's definitely what shaped my love of superheroes and the comic book realms and Spider-Man in general. I just don't think that it held up. So I don't think probably that the original X-Men movies would hold up as much. But just for kind of James Marsden, I really want to go back and rewatch. And Hugh Jackman as well. But anyway, so I feel like I hear Paulie coming back. He always listens to music on his cell phone, on a speakerphone, which I know can be super annoying for people, but he does that. So I feel like I could hear it in the hallway, and he's just going to come busting in at any point, and it's just going to be loud as shit. But let's continue until then. And hopefully he brought me my bacon, egg, and cheese. But no, so yeah, so then in season 2, because they killed off Steve, but they were like, hell no, are we getting rid of James Marsden? That guy's gold. They decided to make that he has a twin. And I hate that storyline. That is such a trope. It's such a cliche. It's like, oh, kill off one guy, but guess what? He has a twin. And this twin, Ben, is completely different than Steve, whereas Steve was a douchebag and an asshole. Ben doesn't drink and he's really nice, and he's the guy that you can relate to and everything. And I don't know, I just didn't like that. And I also think that was way too much into James Marsden's wheelhouse, that I felt like it was just really cliche and I didn't appreciate it. And to be honest with all of you, I kind of fell off on season 2. I just really didn't like where it was going. I thought that there was this really great chemistry that everyone had in season 1. And I felt like they had a little bit of this like golden magic that they had tapped into in season 1 that did not correlate into, or I did not translate, into season 2. And I didn't necessarily like the direction that they went into. I was speaking about it with others, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded if season 1 had just been an offshoot, just be a mini series and leave it at that. So kind of disappointed with where Dead to Me went. If they had just kept it as season 1, I would have praised it up and down and given a really good review. But with season 2, it just kind of felt like every other typical Netflix thing out there, and it felt like it got really lazy. So I can't give, if you watch the first season is great. And then just maybe don't watch the second season. Paulie did point out to me, he was like, haven't we seen this before? And he started describing shit. And I was like, no, that's Frankie and Grace. And it reminded me that, yeah, Netflix kind of has this formula, which, you know, is not bad. The MCU has a formula. Warner Brothers has a formula. There's not anything necessarily wrong with a formula, but he's right in the sense that this is a formula that they obviously went in the same direction. So, if you're looking for good shit to watch, though, I have really been liking Penny Dreadful City of Angels. I think that that's a really... didn't I say that he was coming back? Hey, say hi, everyone. It's Lady. Did you bring me my bacon, egg, and cheese? Yeah. He actually brought me my bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm not going to eat it on camera, guys, but I'm just finishing up telling them about Dead to Me, the Netflix show that we watched with, you know, what the one girl murdered the other girl's husband. Okay. He's like, but pretty much that's all I really have to say about the show. I liked the first season. The second season, I just believe fell off to me. But as I was saying, if you're looking for a good show, I'm really liking Showtime's Penny Dreadful City of Angels. Now, I never watched the original Penny Dreadful, but it seems like there really isn't a whole lot in common from that show to this. So I didn't really feel a need to watch Penny Dreadful, even though I'm sure I should watch it since it does get such great recommendations from people online. And Apple TV's Defending Jacob. Chris Evans is a marvelous actor, and no, that is no pun intended. A marvelous actor, and certainly you should check that out. Just get the free trial of Defending Jacob in 2 weeks when the last episode comes out. It's 8 episodes, and you can watch it, and it's a really good show. So I would like to know what you guys think of Dead to Me. You can, of course, find me on Twitter and Instagram, Tia Fabi, and we are on Geek Vibes Nation is on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Vero, YouTube, as you can tell. So definitely there are places that you can reach out, let me know what you think of Dead to Me and how much we love James Marsden and Christina Applegate. You know what? Christina Applegate is still gold. No matter how much I kind of dislike the direction that season 2 went into, she's still gold because she's just angry. And I kind of aspire to be like Jen when I grow up. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning into another Tea Time with Tia. And I am going to devour this bacon, egg, and cheese. So see you guys.